$482 billion. That's exactly what the largest retailer in the world made just this past year alone. Hello, this is Team 2 reporting on Walmart, the mega retail giant. While $482 billion is awesome, we think it could be even better. Maybe even $1 trillion someday. How can Walmart get there? We're going to take a look on how Walmart can improve on that by focusing on micro and macroeconomics, and later discussing projections and recommendations for the company. The first part we'll be talking about is the microeconomic environment.
Walmart is the largest discount store in the world. They carry many different products from inferior goods to normal goods. They carry anything from name brand to store brand. They are also known for their low prices. They price match other stores, and they even have an app that you can put on your phone, which you can scan your receipt and they will give you money back. Walmart also owns their supply chain. They have distribution centers that are less than 200 miles from each store in order to get products to their stores faster. They also share sales numbers with their suppliers. This helps both Walmart and their suppliers have better sales data. They also request that suppliers have employees in Bentonville so that they can help with Walmart's buying decisions. Walmart is in a monopolistic competitive market. They have both relatively large and small companies competing in this market. It's relatively easy to enter this market at a local level, but at a larger scale level, it's much harder. Walmart has quite a bit of price control due to their large market share. The same-store sales of Walmart have been declining over the past 5 years. The change in this market is due to online shopping. More people are going onto their computers and buying goods than going to the store. To increase market share, Walmart has started offering ship-to-store free of charge, like Amazon Prime, and they also have where you can order your groceries online and go pick them up from the store. Now we'll look at the macroeconomic side of Walmart.
To get a good feel of the macroeconomic environment surrounding Walmart, we have to look at all the different pieces that make up that measurement, starting with consumer spending, gross private domestic investment, government consumption expenditures and gross investment, and net export spending. First, we'll look at personal consumption expenditures. If you look at the 2-year highlighted section there from about 2008 to 2010, that's when the US recession hit. So if we look at personal consumption expenditures, in January 2006, it started at 9.7 trillion. And now, just the last recording that we have, July 2016, it's at 11.5 trillion. So obviously there's been growth, and that's great to see. And this is made up of what people are spending their money on. This is what drives the economy in a lot of different ways. People go out and spend their money, and Walmart is a receiver of that. They have a lot of goods that people want to buy, and so they reap the benefits when people have more money to spend. Now, if we looked at gross private domestic investment, here the most interesting thing to see is how much of a dip this took during the recession. And if you look carefully at 2016, you start to see a similar dip again. This recent trend has a lot of analysts worried about what could happen in the future. And if you look at this chart, you see Walmart store growth. There's only been about 50 more stores created between 2015 and 2016. This could signal that Walmart is following suit with a lot of other businesses out there, that they do not want to invest in long-term buildings or operations that could weigh them down in the future. This shows the government spending and the effect that it has on the GDP. You'll see it peaked right after the recession, which is when a lot of the bailouts and different programs were starting to really kick into gear to save a lot of those businesses that were affected by the recession. If we look at net export spending, you'll see it's a negative number. It did jump to almost negative 300 million towards the end of the recession, but it has really gone down even since then. What this shows is that it's a reliance on things that we're importing and not what we're exporting. And if you take a look at the federal interest rate, while it has dropped, that really did encourage Walmart to invest in their company. But even as that number has stayed close to zero, Walmart has seen that with all the other pieces of the economic well-being of the country, that they've pulled back on their investing that way. The other piece that comes into affecting Walmart's business, especially their grocery business, which brings in about 56% of their business every year, is the Consumer Pricing Index. And if we look at the past 12 months, food overall has had a 0% change, but if we dig down a little bit more, food away from home has gone up 2.8%, while food at home has gone down 1.9%. This really affects Walmart and allows them to have a cheaper cost, which can be good and bad depending on how they're marketing it to their customer. And now looking at the bottom line, Walmart's revenue. They really have sustained well throughout the past 10 years. You'll see in that same gap where the recession hit, it flatlined a lot more. And what that tells us is that even though a lot of businesses were hurt negatively and a lot of consumers were hurt negatively, those people who no longer could afford more expensive stores were shopping at Walmart. So in a lot of ways, Walmart is recession proof. When a recession happens, Walmart is going to get in new clients that wouldn't necessarily be there. Now you do look at the most current numbers and it starts to hit kind of a stagnation point again. That's something that investors and Walmart as a corporation are going to be looking at going forward. And now we'll look at our projections for the next 5 years and what our recommendations are for Walmart.
All right, so now that we've heard a little bit about the micro side and the macro side from a historical perspective, we'll take you through a projection and some of our recommendations with what Walmart can do for the future. So here you'll see some bullets from the microeconomic perspective. We believe that Walmart in the future is going to face challenges with looking at what is their revenue and what is their income on a per store basis. We've discussed that they have historically expanded and gotten a lot of revenue growth by opening new stores, but we'll see in a few charts that they've actually on a per store basis seen declines in revenue and in their net income. So we expect an increasing focus on a per store basis. Walmart's probably going to need to get a little bit creative in retaining or attracting new market share for some of their customers. So in addition to looking at their business on a per store basis, we believe that Walmart will also need to look at their overall e-commerce business and really figure out what they need to do to differentiate themselves from Amazon. Now, Amazon, their e-commerce business is their core business, while e-commerce and website online business is kind of a supplemental segment for Walmart. So Walmart really needs to differentiate themselves in that model to compete with Amazon. We do believe that that online shopping model will continue to suppress some of the in-store sales, so that's something that Walmart will have to overcome as a challenge in the future. From a macroeconomic perspective, as we discussed previously, Walmart essentially, as the GDP improves, almost sees some declines in their sales, where consumers have a tendency to shop low price, low cost when the economy and their pocketbooks are a little bit tight. But as things are improving, Walmart maybe loses some market share, some customers who choose to shop elsewhere for various reasons. That will be a challenge from the macroeconomic perspective looking forward. So a couple of charts to walk us through this. This first slide will show revenue expansion over the past 6 years. So we see clear on the left, 2011, where Walmart's revenues were considerably lower, and then they took a nice incline. But then you also see this trend line that shows the store count. So Walmart's revenue is trending with the new store openings that they actually have. However, on a per store level, we see that when you look at all of those new stores that Walmart has opened, their revenues per store have actually been on a declining trend for the past 6 years. So you see back in 2011 where on a per store level, Walmart was generating about $49 million worth of revenue a year. Now today, in their most recent fiscal year, they're actually generating between 41 and 42 million. There's been a significant decline that they're going to have to look at. Net income as well has declined through that same period on a per store level. You might think that revenues may be declining, but maybe their income has actually been okay or flat or maybe even a little up. Well, it's actually been on the same downward trend. Finally, as we also mentioned, Walmart's largest category is their grocery segment, where grocery makes up 56% of their overall sales. You also will see that the balance is made up of home, apparel, hard lines, and entertainment, health, and wellness. We think that this is important for Walmart to consider as they figure out a game plan for the future, knowing that the core of their real business is grocery focused. So finally, some recommendations that we have for Walmart going forward. First, Walmart needs to look at scaling back on their new store openings. They've started to do this, but we really believe that they need to look at key market areas and decide carefully where they need to be and have a presence. They need to focus on driving up their revenue per store and their income per store. Next, Walmart needs to take that savings that they have not made the capital investment in their store growth and determine to allocate that into their existing stores, making improvements, we believe, in the grocery experience where locally they're competing with other grocers in the communities. So if Walmart can invest in their grocery segment and be seen as the go-to grocery store, Walmart will capitalize on that. Third, they need to invest in their online presence. So again, we mentioned that they need to differentiate from Amazon, knowing that Amazon's core business is online sales, and this is a supplemental segment for Walmart. But we really believe that they need to find a way to differentiate from Amazon while still drawing in customers for Walmart. Finally, we believe that Walmart needs to increase their marketing activities both in their grocery segment and in their online sales. Things like in the grocery segment, Walmart may put televisions up that play a loop that might remind customers of other things in their store that they can pick up while they're there. From the online segment, they may do something like have ads to click that would be complimentary goods for whatever they're adding to their shopping cart. Those activities are going to drive additional purchases at Walmart and other segments that will only work to their benefit in the future.
To recap, we've talked about the last 10 years of macroeconomics. We've also discussed our projections and our recommendations to the company. We hope that you consider our recommendations moving forward.